Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon.
Awesome. Great. So let's get started. We are almost on time. Let me just quickly see how many people we have in the room. So there are around 18 people. I know 60 plus have accepted the invite. So hopefully people will join in as we continue our session. So let's begin. So first of all, welcome all of you to the Career Development Symposium. Today's session, is the first session of the series of Career Development Symposium that the Bread of Life Foundation has sponsored. I will talk about what the Bread of Life Foundation is, what is Career Development Symposium all about, and I will also talk about something very interesting today, which will really help you in your careers. So let's begin. I'd like to begin with a small disclaimer here. I know that before joining the Zoom meeting, you might have already seen and acknowledged this disclaimer, but please be aware that if you're going on a camera, things are confidential here. You give your consent when you're joining the session. We expect that we conduct, properly. Our behavior, our etiquettes are in line with the norms of any professional setting. There are technical considerations, so please bear with me. I am logging in from Ahmednagar, my hometown in Maharashtra. So if there are any technical glitches, so I apologize for that in advance. And you are being recorded. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that you are aware of all these things. Just some basic session guidelines. Before we commence, you might want to be aware that it would be a best practice for you to go on mute when you do not wish to ask a question or want to make a comment. So I would highly encourage that all of you who have joined here, please go on mute and turn off your cameras. Only if the need arises, if you feel that the camera needs to be turned on, please do so. And please unmute yourself if you want to talk. Okay. You can also type your questions or thoughts in the Zoom chat box, and we will have a dedicated session for questions and answers. All right. All right. So let us begin. Let me just walk you through today's agenda. Today's agenda is mostly focused around an hour of knowledge sharing, where we will cover two parts. In the first part, which will take around 15 minutes approximately, I would like to talk about my foundation, Bread of Life, its vision, mission, and goal. That will take around 2.5 minutes. Then we'll go through the actual content of what is Career Development Symposium. It's a mouthful of word, but what those terms really mean and how this is really going to help you individually. What is the methodology? The way we wish to achieve your career growth, what is that going to be? Will be part of the first half. And the second half, which is the major part of the session, I will be talking about one of the most interesting aspects of your career growth, which is going to be the art of persuasion. And then we'll move on to question and answers. I will share with you the upcoming sessions that you can register and look forward to. And then I'd like to hear some feedback from you. How did today's session went? So let's do a deep dive. My name is Gaurav. A lot of people know me by my initials. It's G. All in my previous organizations, I am known by the letter G, because usually in the team there will be multiple Gauravs. So people would refer me by G. So you can either call me G or Gaurav, whichever way. I am the founder of Bread of Life Foundation. I am an ex Microsoft. Almost 66% of my career I spent in Microsoft in the engineering team. I am ex-VP at JP Morgan Chase, worked there as a senior architect in software engineering field. I did my bachelor's in computer science from the University of Pune, or also known as, the Oxford of the East. I finished my master's in computer science from University of Pune. I've got almost 18 years in IT domain, mostly practicing engineering and computer science. I've also got 11 plus years experience in the charity domain, 2 plus years experience in teaching domain. I used to be a visiting professor at Abasaheb Garware College in Pune, teaching computer science to my students. I'm very passionate about computer science in general. Career guidance definitely is one of my areas that I like to nurture new talent, mentor them. Philosophy and religion is also very close to my heart. And in general, I'm very passionate about the common good of the society. And I'll be spending almost 15 minutes on what that really means. Um, I love learning, persuading, influencing, and teaching people. So today's talk would be mostly around persuading you, influencing you to make a good career choice, right? So that you can grow in your career. Um, the practices and the patterns that I'll be sharing with you today, I have used these methodologies myself for 18 plus years, and I have immensely benefited from them. So I'm really hoping that this is a useful and worth of your time. Let's talk a little bit about my accomplishments. With humility, I share this slide with you, not with arrogance, but with humility, I share this slide with you. With whatever God has helped me to achieve, Microsoft has been a very fulfilling career for me, not only in terms of learning, but also in terms of accomplishments. So, with the 13 years of working in Microsoft and overall 18 years of IT experience, I was able to have a lot of honors and accomplishments under my belt. And again, I say this with a lot of humility, because this is not because of me. This is because of, God and the people that were around me. So I've got a lot of experience in innovation, won a lot of medals in hackathons, a lot of architectural awards from Microsoft, a lot of cultural awards, a lot of people award, because I'm interested in people's growth. And I've also done a lot of developing in the tools, writing code myself. So I've got some awards there as well. Through this session, I really hope that I'm able to share all these learnings that I have accumulated over time with you, so that you might find at least some better path towards your career. That is my ardent desire for all of you guys. Now, let's begin the first part. In this part, we will understand a little bit about the foundation that we have established. It's called Bread of Life Foundation. We will know about its mission, vision, and objectives. The Bread of Life Foundation is an NGO organization registered with the Indian government. It is approved. Last year, we registered it, very proud of it. The vision of Bread of Life Foundation is to allow people to reach their ultimate fulfillment more fully and more easily. Now, if you understand the vision here, you yourself would find yourself being associated with this vision. Why? Because we want to allow you to reach your ultimate fulfillment in terms of your career more fully and more easily. That is the reason why Bread of Life Foundation has sponsored this event, because they really want us, all of us, to achieve our career, to reach our fulfillment more easily and more fully. Now, the mission, we talk about the vision and the mission. Mission is the first stepping stone towards the vision. So the vision is the North Star, but the mission is to offer the bread of life by providing works of charity. So this is a charity organization that I have established. It's been officially on the in the records for 1 year, but we have been doing grassroots works since 2012. It's a charity organization, so we do a lot of things for the poor people. I'll give a very quick walkthrough about this. The inception of this foundation started all the way when I was working in Microsoft in Texas, US. So I spent almost 8 years in US, learning about the culture, learning about the people, and my own religious beliefs I was able to experience there. And because of which, I saw that there is a lot of poverty in India. India has its great culture, tradition, but on the other side, the reality is that we still need to do more for our people. And that's where I stood out and I said, I need to do something for the poor people. And that's where we started Bread of Life Foundation. Then, in 2012, we began. In 2022, we first registered with the Bombay Public Trust Act 1950. We got an official grant. And on June 25th, we celebrated our foundation day. So this year, 2023, we are celebrating our first year anniversary. But the grassroots level, the efforts have been since 2012. So this is a humble, history. The Bread of Life Foundation works in the four thematic areas. And this is in line with the World Health Organization's Sustainable Development Goal. We work for the poor people. So poverty is our area. The second area that we work is the health. How can we improve the health of the most poorest of the poor in the society, the downtrodden people? The third area that we focus on is drinking water. I belong from Maharashtra. And in Maharashtra, one of the most pressing issues is having a clean access to drinking water. And that is our priority, which is also in line with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. And then the other broader category is improving the livelihood of the poorest of the poor. So these are the four pillars that the Bread of Life Foundation works towards. Now, these four pillars are further divided into 14 objectives. So there are four thematic areas, but if you see, we do a lot of work like feeding the hungry. We go on the street, we give them food on a daily basis. We provide access to clean drinking water. We provide clothing to the naked. A lot of times you will see in our society, there are people who are on the streets begging. And how often do we look at them? We quickly want to ignore them. We quickly want to walk away from them. But I decided that we will provide clothes to them. We will provide food to them, drink to them. Then sheltering the homeless. We also do a lot of provide clothes, shelter to homeless people whenever it is possible. We give them clothes. We visit the sick people in various hospitals. We also do a lot of visits to the prison. So we have a prison ministry. We also do a lot of charity work towards burying the dead. The people who cannot afford a decent burial, irrespective of what caste, creed, or religion they belong to, whether they are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, no matter what religion they are, we provide financial support for their burial. The last rites, the Antim Samskara, as it is known in our culture. We also do a lot of counseling. And of course, today, I will be focusing on instructing and educating. And that is the reason why Bread of Life Foundation has sponsored this event. Because through this event, we wish to instruct, help you to grow in your career. So there are a lot of other things. There are around 14 things. If you want to learn more about it, please log into bolfoundation.org. I'd like to particularly call out to your attention the work that we were able to achieve in COVID-19. You very well know the situation we had to go through during COVID-19. Social distancing was the norm. Imagine that you were not able to touch your friends, not get in touch with them socially. What would have happened with the poorest of the poor on the street? Have you ever thought of this? In COVID-19, what would have happened to the poorest of the poor on the street? No one came to visit them. During that time, Bread of Life Foundation went forward and they started the COVID-19 grocery kit, in which we gave ration, we gave the groceries, and 3,417 meals were distributed to the poorest of the poor people. 824 plus family members were rescued during the hunger that was struck during COVID-19. 84 plus grocery kits were distributed to 824 family members. So these are some of the achievements and impact that with humility we come forward to you and share it with you. We help a lot of people who are having disabilities. Like one of our beneficiaries is this person having leprosy. We provided grocery kit to them. This is one of the ladies who was a rag picker in our area, in Ahmednagar, my hometown. When we saw her, Her hands were bleeding because she was picking rag. And in the rag, there were nails. She didn't know that she's putting her hand. And just to put some food on her table, she was hurting herself. We thought of doing something for her and we offered her the COVID-19 grocery kit. So, Bread of Life Foundation, this is the work. We also go to a lot of villages. We went to more than 6 villages like Agadgaon, Ratadgaon, Ghat Deolgaon, Tokewadi, Khandke, Bhingar, and a lot of other villages in Pune areas. And we visited the widows, the single moms, the women who are strongest in our society, the rural women. And we offered them nawari, sahavari, saris, and grocery kits just to provide some help to them. This is the work of Bread of Life Foundation. We do a lot of charity work in terms of offering, wheelchairs. So this is one of our beneficiaries who said, my identity has been changed from disabled to self-abled. So we really thank all our donors and benefactors for offering this help to our beneficiaries. So these are some of the works. This is our team. This is my elder brother, Amit, offering food on the streets of Pune in Vimannagar. We see a lot of kids moving around. We don't really pay attention to them, but we took some time off our work and we decided to offer some snacks and food to these poor people on the streets of Pune. This is our work in Chennai, Chengalpattu, when floods were stuck. And this blind family members, these are 50 blind family members who are destitute in Chennai because of the flood. We were able to offer them grocery kits. So our reach is not only here in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, Pune, but also in Tamil Nadu. We do a lot of things for children as well, distributing clothes to the poor, offering school kits for kids, visiting the prisoners. This is our latest visit to Visapur jail, where the Bread of Life Foundation spoke about the theme of Too's Tuja Jeevanacha Shilpakar. That is Marathi, which means you are the sculptor of your life. We really help people, especially the prisoners who are no longer part of the society, as if they are the destitute people. So we have to positively help them to come back to the society. And this was our last visit to them. So this is what the work of the Bread of Life Foundation is. We also do a lot of last right work, provide financial assistance. So this is our cumulative impact. More than 7,700 meals have been distributed. 315 liters of water to the poorest of the people have been provided. 200 plus clothes have been distributed. And, there are a lot of things. You would have access to the content later. So please take some time out to learn and know about this work. And you can also log into www.bolfoundation.org. If you wish to contribute in any way, please do so. Contribution doesn't necessarily always mean donating in cash. It could mean offering your ideas or talents. If you're a software engineer, you can help us by writing code. If you're someone who have time, you can offer your ideas. You can volunteer your time, or you can donate in kind. Okay? You will also receive tax benefit if you're providing donations above 500 rupees. So that was about the work that we do as Bread of Life Foundation. Now let me move on to the topic at hand, which is CDS. What is Career Development Symposium? Okay, let's begin. The very reason you guys have joined today here is because you answered this question: to take control of your career path, isn't it? Right? I mean, you are spending almost 1 hour on this Saturday. It is your right and expectation to expect something that you already have in terms of your career, right? That is the reason you came here. If you want to take control of your career, you have dedicated 1 hour of your time today to join this session. It is my responsibility to make sure you at least get benefited from today's session. Of course, we will have upcoming sessions, but if you have said yes to that, CDS is for you. The Career Development Symposium is for you. The vision is in line with the Bread of Life Foundation's vision. But the mission of CDS is very clear. It is to offer you all educational sessions to aid your career development. And you might really ask this question: why today? What is so special about today? Today is August. What date is today? August the 12th. Do you guys know what is the importance of today's date? It is the World Youth Day. Well, I know that we don't hear about it a lot, but today we are celebrating the World Youth Day. And on this occasion, we want to highlight the most pressing issue that the youth of today is facing, namely unemployment, career guidance. These are the top two issues that the youth of today are facing. What is career development? Which field should I choose? I am already a software engineer. I want to become an architect from a tech lead. I want to grow to become a good person in terms of my career. I want to grow, right? All these questions will be answered today. And actually, one of the things which was very difficult for me to kind of rationalize is all of you come from a very different background. How are we going to do due diligence to each of your expectation? And hence today's topic will be around your career development, but on a particular theme. But I hope you understand the need and why we are holding this session, why the Bread of Life Foundation is holding this session today, August the 12th, because it is the World Youth Day. And the most pressing issue of the youth today is unemployment and career guidance. 65% and more of India's youth is trying to find better job opportunities and career development. More than 65% of Indian youth. Can you imagine the gravity of this issue? How often do you see people talking about your personal career growth? So, thanks to the Bread of Life Foundation for giving us this platform to talk about the importance of this theme and helping you take a step closer. Career development is proactive, intentional, and a lifelong process of advancing your career. I mean, we've been using this term very casually, but please be aware that career development is proactive in nature. It cannot be reactive. It cannot be the case like I need job, so let's do career development. It shouldn't be that way. It should be the way that I want to grow proactively. It's a thought which comes first. Then I hunt a job. Then I grow. You see, it cannot be reactive. It cannot be like, hey, I want to become an architect. I want to become a tech lead. I want to become, and hence I need to grow my career. No, it shouldn't be an afterthought. You should always start your day with this positive theme in your mind that I want to grow. In terms of my career, you have to be very proactive, right? You have to be very intentional about it. And please be aware, it is a process. It will take time. Just by finishing today's session or completing some courses on Udemy or Pluralsight or watching some YouTube channels, it is not as if the case you are growing in your career. It is a process. It needs time. So please be very cognizant about this theme in your life. This is the message I want to give you. Now, one of the guiding principles with my 18 plus years of experience that I have found, if you are someone who is not a graduate, if you are someone who is not working currently, please make sure you choose a career based upon this principle. And the principle is passion and industry trend. Please make sure that the career you choose, whether you want to become an IT engineer, a data scientist, an architect, or a doctor, or a best businessman, it should be in line with your passion. And there is an industry trend associated with it. Both are important. You cannot just follow your passions. Imagine I have a passion of, let's say, I don't know, doing a DJ work, right? Disc jockey. Now, doing a DJ work is a great art, right? People have made careers out of it. But if there is no industry trend associated with it, then will I be able to put food on my table? Right? Now, again, I'm taking DJ as an example. It could be other fields where there is no industry trend. Currently, if you see, IT industry has been at the topmost in India. Business, science, these are top 3 areas where people want to grow their career in. So make sure you have the passion and the industry backs you up in your passion. You cannot just follow the passion. You cannot just follow the industry. It has to be the passion and industry together. The second guiding principle, I want to share it with you. I don't know how many of you have heard this term, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you have heard of it, just raise your hands in your chat, right? In the Zoom. If you have heard of this term, just raise your hands. I see some hands coming up, like Aniket and others have already raised their hands. Yes, I see a lot of people started to raising their hands. Okay, great. That's awesome. You have heard about it. Abraham Maslow's was a person who came up with this hierarchy of needs. And I propose to you, after spending 18 plus years in this industry, that the first thing you should focus on in terms of your career is, will this career help me to get my physiological needs? This is the first thing you should be focusing on. This is called as the physiological need. In Hindi, they would say roti, kapda, makan. Right? If I'm not able to put roti, kapda, and makan, probably I'm not in the right career path. If I'm not able to earn for my family, where I am able to meet the physiological needs like food, water, warmth, and rest, then that career might not be the right career for me. The second important thing is the safety. Do you have the job safety, the security, financial security, emotional security, health? I've been in the IT industry and I have suffered a major heart attack because of work-life balance issues. My health has been a challenge. I have to often take breaks from office because of my health. I need to prioritize my health. So we really need to make this as a priority. We cannot just run after success. We cannot just run after esteem. So please recognize the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Look up and make sure the career that you choose, or whatever career that you're already chosen, make sure you prioritize first this, then go towards the safety, then try to seek love and belongingness, then build your self-esteem. Don't run after awards and accomplishments in your career. If your manager doesn't recognize you for the hard work, do not worry. Because in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, your safety, your mental health comes first, then bagging an award. Please recognize this. A time will come when you will be here, self-actualization, or in Buddhism it is called the nirvana state, where you have achieved your full potential, right? So make sure the career is oriented towards the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do we have any questions so far? I don't see anything on the chat, but if you have any questions, you can speak up. Okay. Career development comes with a very simple formula: hard skills plus soft skills. Now, I bet majority of the people who want to grow in their career would only focus on the hard skills. What is hard skills? It means skills which are very specific, which are very technical. They are tangible. For example, training, formal training, like data scientist training course, C sharp, doing some courses on business or doing courses on sales and management. These are hard skills. People only and only focus on these skills, and which is a complete incorrect understanding of career. Career development encompasses two important pillars. The first one is the hard skills, but the second, which is often neglected, is the soft skill. Soft skill is about interpersonal skills. Right? This is where the lack of confidence comes in. Well, I am not able to speak properly. Maybe my English is not good. Maybe I'm not able to convince my seniors. I want to become an architect. How do I become an architect? Maybe I'm having the technical knowledge, but how do I prove myself that I'm perfect for this job? One of the gentlemen here wrote in the during the registration that I know the hard skills, but how do I make my manager or my leaders understand that I'm the right fit to become an architect rather than a lead? How is that? That's what soft skill is about, in addition to being hard skills. So please recognize the importance of your career. It should not be only and only focused on hard skills. It has to be a right combination of hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills, this is, the definition of it. And examples like proficiency in a language like C sharp. I understand that the majority of the people who have joined on the call today are software engineers, and I'm happy. But there are also other people who have joined on the call. Some of them are from business background. Some of you are from sales background, data science background, and I welcome all of you. And if you want to grow your skills, the hard skills in your domain, you will find knowledge here. But don't just pay attention to that alone. Focus on the soft skill as well. This means communication, teamwork, problem solving ability, conflict resolution, emotional intelligence. Believe me, in my 18 years of career, I was very privileged to practice both together. I've seen a lot of technical people in my life, but most of the time they'll only and only focus on hard skills. They will either lose the importance of soft skill, or they will think that it is secondary. And when I say soft skill, it doesn't simply mean you have to speak English. Please don't misunderstand me. Or your pronunciation has to be really good. That is not what I'm referring to by soft skill. It really means your interpersonal skills. How do you influence people? How do you resolve conflict? Are you a team player? Are you able to solve a problem? Do you have emotional intelligence? All of these things are part of your soft skill. And believe me, at least in my 18 years of career, if you ask me, if you want to earn relationship and earn people around you, hard skills will get you there. But the nail on the coffin is soft skill. Any questions so far? Do we have any questions on the chat?
No.
Okay, great. All right, let's begin and continue. One of the things that I will be sharing with you in the upcoming sessions is what we can call GROW model. GROW. GROW. The English word grow. Everyone understands the meaning of the English word grow. It means to increase in quality, quantity, grow, right? The same model grow will help you to achieve your career growth. The G stands for setting goals. Now, if I ask you, how many of you on the call today have created a goal for yourself? Some of you might say, well, I've thought about it. Some of you might say, I know for sure. I want to become an architect. I want to become a good software engineer. I want to become a data scientist. Well, very good. Then you have almost achieved, I would say, 25% in your career because you have a goal. You cannot just ride a bike and go anywhere, isn't it? You ride a bike to reach to a destination, right? So you need to know what is your destination. Okay. The R stands for reality check. You might have a great goal, but what is your reality? Have you done a check on that? I want to become a data scientist. Well, my question to you is, what is your reality today? What credentials do you have to become a data scientist? Have you done your hard skills and soft skills? If yes, well and good, move on to the next option. If not, think about it. GR, goals and reality. The next is O, options. Options is identifying the gaps between your goals and reality. Right? I want to become an architect. You are a tech lead. Hey, your goal is clear. You are an architect. You want to become an architect. Your reality is you are a tech lead. But the options are what? What are the hard skills that you need to learn? What are the soft skills that you need to focus on? Focus on those gaps. That is what the O in the grow means. And the last is way forward, W. Once you have a clarity in terms of your goal, the future, reality, which is your current, options, which is the difference between your future and your current, you move forward. That is what the grow model offers you. Now, when I was in Microsoft, I had written an award-winning tool uh, for grow. So I will be sharing this tool with you people who are interested in using this tool. Please write to me at gauravpatole@bolfoundation.org. I will be sharing these details at the end of the session. So I will be sharing the tool with you. It's a very fascinating tool. No matter which background you have, no matter what career path you are on, you would be able to use that tool. Just ping me or message me and I will send this tool over to you. We are running short of time, so I need to really pace up. One of the things that I was very conscious about in this session is you all are expecting something from this session, isn't it? But yet the challenging part for me is you come from different ambitions, you have different aspirations. Majority of you are either a software engineer or you want to become a software engineer. Others, data scientist. Others, overall growth. Others are trying to become a business people. So how can I'm sitting here. How do I make sure each one of you gets something out of this session, right? Because this is not going to be one of those sessions where I'm talking to a screen. I want to talk to people with real aspirations. And that is the very reason when you registered, you were asked this question. In your own words, describe your job aspiration. And thank you for sharing that with me. Unless I know your job aspirations, I would not be able to guide you. So the Bread of Life Foundation, right? After this session, we will work out a plan to help you, guide you on these tracks. And if this theme is common across various audience, it will be a general session. If not, it will be a personal session. Majority of the people that are on the call that I see, I know them personally. You can ping me, even though I might be working with you today or I might not be working with you because of my health reasons. That's okay, right? But I am reachable to help you. So please be aware that you, all of you, majority of you are actually software developers and want to become. Some of you are pursuing to become data scientists. Some of you are business trainers, research. We also have a gentleman who is a doctor who has done a PhD on cybersecurity. And so we have a great audience today, right? And I hope to provide something more to help you grow in your careers. The other important aspects that I've noticed is 53% of you have a very strong inclinations toward IT. The second part is science and research. There's a wonderful audience that we have today because I see a great diversity in terms of the career growth. IT, science, entrepreneurship, education, management. That's such a wonderful audience that we have. The only point I want to share with you on this slide is I am aware that this is going to be a personal session, right? So please be aware that this is not just a generic session that I have designed. The sessions would be a personal sessions focusing on your areas of growth. And I understand the knowledge that you have in your own respective fields. Majority of you have voted intermediate knowledge, which means you have developed a solid foundation of the knowledge, right? The other topmost, I see 32% of you already are beginning to pursue your career or the field that you have chosen. And I see that 17% of you are advanced in the knowledge. So I speak from data, and the sessions that we'll be designing will be very personal, keeping all this data in mind. Okay. A majority of you have shown interest in problem solving. I will be sharing an interesting session that I've learned in Microsoft about problem solving. Any problem you have, any problem, whether it is your problem in your team, an architecture, anything, or a software engineering problem, data science issue, how do we solve that problem and critically think about it? Okay, and this is a method that I'll be sharing with you that NASA has used. It's called Kepner-Trego. So I will be sharing not today, but the upcoming sessions. Okay, so watch that space. Okay, I want to make sure you are excited about the upcoming sessions too. And then a lot of you have told me, I want to learn leadership and management. How do I manage my time? How do I communicate well? How do I develop my personality? I want to be creative, innovative, right? So this is the funnel which shows your interest area. And believe me, these are the topics that we are getting for you. Okay. So hang in there. I exactly know what you guys need. Okay. Let's begin with the second part, the second half, and then we'll be done for today. The second half. We are running short of time, but I'll hopefully 15 minutes here and there. The session is for 1.5 hours, but I'll try to make sure that we cover as much as possible. Now, in terms of the first part, do you guys have any questions? I'd like to pause here for a minute. Please put your questions on the chat, or if you would like to unmute yourself and speak, please do so. How to improve soft skill? Vaibhav is asking. Thank you, Vaibhav. Today, I will be focusing on some of those aspects to answer your question. But soft skill is a very big umbrella, right? And I will talk about one of the aspects of soft skills. And actually, your question is in line with the current slide. The art of persuasion. The art of persuasion falls under the umbrella of soft skill. Now, a lot of time when people hear the word soft skill, they think English and communication. Well, that's not entirely true, and that's not entirely wrong as well. Okay. Yes, soft skill does include how you communicate. Okay. And I don't mean English only. You can communicate through Marathi. It's my mother tongue, and I'm proud of it. Right. I can speak in Marathi and influence you. That's my soft skill. So don't think it's only English. The second part is it's not simply the grammar, the vocabulary, or the accent that you carry. Okay. It's not how you pronounce the words. It's really the essence that you carry. And are you able to influence people? Are you able to persuade them? Right. So soft skill is a huge umbrella. Right. It involves a lot of things: leadership qualities, emotional intelligence, problem solving, conflict resolution. The list goes on. Okay. So hang in tight, Vaibhav. We will be going through that, but not today because I understand and recognize that you have given your 1 hour and 1.5 hours of your time. So today I will teach you a trick to influence your team members. How about that? And this is going to be the soft skill. Can I get a thumbs up on this? Is that fine? Today I will be teaching to you about a soft skill aspect, a trick. Okay. It's called, "The Art of Persuasion." The art of persuasion. 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 The art of persuasion using modes of persuasion and rhetorical devices to influence people to agree with your perspective. Oh my God, that's very difficult, right? I was recently working with my team members, right? In my previous organization at JP Morgan Chase, a wonderful organization, wonderful people. But majority of the time, what we ended up doing is we spoke a lot of technical things. But at the end of the day, who is able to persuade the other? Can I agree with you? Why should I agree with you? Why should I disagree with you? There is a lot of dialectic reasoning data that was discussed, and I loved about those conversations, right? And that's exactly what you need to be aware of: the art of persuasion. Okay, so let's do a deep dive in this, because this is one of my favorite topics. In 18 years of my career, I have seen this doing wonders. Immediately 50% of your skill, your soft skill, will increase. Okay, let me repeat: 50% of your soft skill will increase if you attend this session, this particular part, which will be like 40 minutes now. Okay, let's first define the terms. There are some technical words that I've used, and I want to make sure you don't get lost into this technical words. So let's define them. You have heard the word influencing. Can one of you tell me, what do you mean by influencing? You can unmute yourself and tell me. What does influencing mean to you?
Like influencing others for betterment, motivating them.
Great. Thank you, Aniket. Who else? What is influencing?
Hey, hi, Gaurav. So I
Hey.
think influencing is just, giving a long-lasting impact and boost up their confidence, right? What they are doing and help them, or maybe, to mentally, give us the impression that their speed of thought, right, would be increased very impetuously.
Wow. What a wonderful description that Aniket and Rohit gave. That's exactly what it is. Influencing refers to how you affect somebody's thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. Right? Here I am in a team meeting. We are having a technical discussion. Am I able to influence you? I could be a tech lead. Am I able to influence my software developers being a tech lead? Well, you would say, of course, because you see, I'm a tech lead. Well, that's not what I mean by influencing. You are influencing by authority, which is an anti pattern. You should never influence people by authority. You should never say, I am a manager. I tell you to do so, so you do. That's not a good way of influencing people, is it? I am a tech lead. I tell you to do so, so you do it. That's not a good way to influence. I am an architect. I tell all my tech leads, do this, do that. They do so. No, that's not a good way to influence, is it? Right? So you have to persuade them. So let's talk about the next term, persuasion. Persuasion is an act of influencing. You have to convince someone. You have to change their opinions. You have to show them some logic, some reasoning behind this. And if you have mastered this persuasion, it's called rhetoric. Sorry, again, a new technical word. The art of persuasion. Okay, it's called rhetoric. It's a soft skill aspect. So, what is art of persuasion? It's called rhetoric. What is persuasion? It is an act of influencing. What is influencing? It refers to the process of affecting and shaping the thoughts of others. So you see the relation between influencing, which could be implicit, right? Right now, I'm speaking to you. Are you being influenced by me? Yes, I hope so. Yes or no? Am I influencing you or not? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Yeah, okay, I'm getting at least some thumbs up. So probably I'm doing at least some decent work. Yeah, okay. So I'm influencing you, right? I'm shaping your thoughts about career, about Bread of Life Foundation, about soft skill, about hard skills, right? I'm shaping your thoughts. I'm influencing you. But what if I don't just influence you, but I lead you to take an action. That is persuasion, not just influence. So persuasion is much more serious, much more explicit than influencing. Okay. And rhetoric is the art. Like, Zakir Hussain. Do you know who Zakir Hussain is? Have you guys heard of Zakir Hussain? Who is he? Anyone?
Yeah, tabla expert.
The tabla expert. A tabla expert, he can wake up from the sleep and start playing tabla because he knows the art of playing tabla. And if you reach to that level, that's what we are calling rhetoric. Today's session is about influencing persuasion and reaching here. And in your sleep, you'll be able to convince people. You would be able to persuade them. So the question is how? Like Vaibhav asked me this question, how? That's what we are going to see now. But understand the importance of this term, right? So please understand that influencing, persuasion, rhetorics, all these things, the definition is here. But these are not just quote unquote soft skill. These are the most fundamental skills you ought to have a successful career growth. It could be in Marathi, it could be in English, it could be in Hindi. Doesn't matter. Again, communication is not just about language. It is much more than that. Okay, so please recognize that today, if you complete this course and stay here for another 30 odd minutes, you will learn immensely and increase your value by 50%. And that's not me. That is somebody else who is making this claim. I'll share that with you. Okay. So let's continue. Let's talk about this person. Do you guys know this person? Any one of you?
Yes.
Yes. Who is he?
Warren Buffett.
Warren
Famous
Buffett.
investor.
Why? Because I have written his name here. No, you guys probably know him. He is one of the largest, biggest, most influential business tycoon in the world. Right? All the business people on the call and all the engineers on the call, please pay attention to this slide. You might think this is not technical. This is one of the most technical slides of this session. Okay. Persuasion is so important to this billionaire Warren Buffett that the only diploma he proudly displays in his office is a public speaking certificate from Dale Carnegie. Right? The only thing he boasts about or flaunts is his public speaking certificate from Dale Carnegie course. It's about persuasion. Right? So if you're technical, if you're an engineer, if you're a tech lead, if you're an architect, if you are a business, if you're a salesperson, no matter where you are, persuasion is the art that you need to pursue. Please be aware of this. Make notes, take a screenshot. I will be sharing the recording with you. Make this as a proactive soft skill that you ought to have. Once Warren Buffett told to the business students that their communication skills would boost their professional value immediately by 50%. Oh my God. That's a huge statement to make. If you focus on your soft skill, particularly communication skills, it will boost your professional value by 50%. And the irony is this. I am from a software field. Very few software engineers would focus here. They would not even be aware of persuasion as a device, rhetoric device that they need to improve on. You need to persuade your audience. I tried to do that a lot of times. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. Right? Today I'm trying to persuade you. Let's see how successful I get. Right? So please recognize that persuasion is utmost important for your career growth. Please make a note in your notebook. Read about it, look up, and I will teach something very interesting to you. What does this mean to me in my role? I want to become a software engineer. Well, engineers persuade the leaders and managers to seek promotion, to scale up or grow in their careers. One of the gentlemen here said, I want to scale up in my career. He used this word scale up. He want to grow. Well, are you able to persuade your manager? My question is. If not, hang in there. You will learn today. The job candidates out here, I am not getting a call. The recruiters are not calling me. I'm not able to get a good company or a role. Well, are you able to persuade your recruiters? My question is. If not, hang in here. Okay. Leaders persuade the employees. Tech leads persuade the software engineers. Architects persuade tech leads. Leaders persuade the architects. Now, persuasion is all over the place. It's just that we are not aware of it. And today, you are explicit about it because you want to grow 50% of your professional value instantly. The CEOs persuade, the presenters or a trainer persuade. You know, one of you are a PhD who have joined the call. You would be able to persuade your students. You're a trainer. How can you persuade your manager? This is very relevant. Okay, so please be aware that this session has been crafted for you in terms of your career growth and underline the theme of persuasion, the art of persuasion. Okay, I have been practicing this for a while. Now let's pause a little bit here. And I don't know how many of you are a history, student of history. I don't know. I mean, how many of you really love history? I don't know. But I do get fascinated about history. I know one of my friend in JPMC, his name was Vishal. He was a wonderful in history. He used to be very fascinated about history, right? So this is a slide about history. Okay. What is persuasion? Aristotle was a Greek philosopher who lived between 4th century. He was a student of Plato. You would be baffled to know he wrote an entire book on persuasion, the art of rhetoric. Almost 2000 years ago, Aristotle outlined the formula on how to become a master of persuasion so that you can grow in your career. It's called rhetoric. Look it up on Amazon. You can find it. It's a thick read. Let me warn you. It is not a simple read because he's a philosopher, that too classic philosopher. Okay. So it's difficult. But if you need any help understanding him, I can spare some time. Okay. So it is Aristotle who showed us how to persuade your manager, how to become a good engineer, how can you grow in your career. This is the person, right, whom I look forward to. So this guy, Aristotle, almost 2000 years ago, taught there are certain devices, tools. It's called rhetorical devices. Okay? And rhetoric is nothing but it's an art of persuasion. That's all it means. Okay. So don't get bogged by this English word rhetoric. What is this new thing? Okay. It simply means art of persuasion. Okay. We will double click and understand what this guy had to talk about. Okay. So here are the three things and we will finish our session here. I want all of you to remember these three things. If you ask me, Gaurav, G, what is the most important thing you want us to focus on in this first session of CDS? It would be this slide. There are three modes of persuasion. According to Aristotle, there are three techniques to appeal and persuade others. Again, if you are a software engineer wanting to persuade your manager so that he will make sure you are part of their team, focus on logos, ethos, and pathos. Those are the Greek words. And you will tell me, Gaurav, we have never heard these words in our entire life. They don't even sound English. And you are right. They are not English words. They are Greek because it came from Aristotle. Okay. Logos, ethos, and pathos. Okay. Let's double click. If you learn these three things, 50% of your professional value has instantly increased. Let's look into the first one, logos. Okay, what do you think? What is this image about? Can anyone tell me? What does this image tell you? What is this about?
Brain.
Brain? Yeah?
Yep.
Any other interpretation of this image?
Uh, just a guess that we should enter into someone's brain and try to understand their thoughts or maybe manipulate their thoughts.
Awesome. Is that
Just a
Vishal?
guess. Yeah, Vishal.
Okay, awesome. That's perfectly. It's a brain. And how do we get into the thought of others? Because we need to influence them. Unless you get their mind, they'll be like, this guy is sounding illogical. Yaar, ye bakwas kar raha hai. It's not making any sense to me. How often do you hear that? Right? You hear this word, this is not making sense to me. That means the person was not able to use logos method. Okay. So when you use this word logos, it is an explicit attempt to tell your audience, people around you who are listening to you, that your argument is based on facts, evidence, and reason. Because that's what the word logos means. The word logos is a Greek term for logic, reason, or word. It's a Greek term. You will find in a lot of historical literature. Like, if you read Bible, if you're a Christian, you read Bible. In the beginning was the logos, that word, reason. Right? So it's all over the place in Greek literature. But today, how often do we think about it, right? So the idea here is, you as a persuader, you use this technique to add proof to your argument to make it seem more credible. Okay? I use that lot of time. Like almost 13 plus years in my Microsoft career, you might have heard Microsoft is a bunch of smart people. Well, that's true. Because they use a lot of reasoning, logic, right? So if you are someone who want to persuade your manager, your team, make sure your argument is strongly based on logos, this method. Okay, let's take an example. Now, let's read this. I feel employees in India are more likely to consider leaving their company than looking for an internal move. How many of you agree with the statement that I'm making? I feel employees in India are more likely to consider leaving their company than looking for an internal move. How many of you guys agree with me? Hands up. Okay, I see some. You have to you can disagree with me, by the way. Okay, you don't have to agree, but I see hands being raised up. Okay, that's good. So, okay, some of you agree, right? But notice this two small little words. It says, I feel, right? This is Gaurav feeling it, right? Do I have any data to show you on this slide? No. Do I have any facts and figures to back up my statement? No. This is an example of anecdote. Anecdote is an English word like sharing your experience, and hence the feeling. How often do you participate in your team meetings and use this word casually? I feel we should do this. I feel we should do that. I feel this is what we should do. I feel the answer to this question is this. Why feeling? If you have the data, why not show the data? That is what the logos method is. I won't be able to persuade you if I simply put my statement based upon opinions and feelings. Okay? You understand, right? What the logos method is? Logos method is showing facts, but this is an anti-pattern. This slide is, you should not do this. Okay, what I am suggesting to you is avoid this. Avoid saying I feel, I think. Okay, be casual. But okay, I'm not saying avoid it all the time. Sometimes you do feel, right? Sometimes you are a human person, right? And I'm not against this words, I feel. But if you are using the logos method as a method of persuasion, please rather say this. Now, how many of you guys think this is more informative? This slide. Okay, I see hands being raising up, right? This is the logos method. I just told you employees in India are more likely to consider leaving their company than looking for an internal move. And I'm quoting you the LinkedIn market research for March 2023. Here are the statistics, right? India is 1.8. That means only 1.8 of employees would rather prefer staying internally. They would rather leave the entire organization than doing an internal move. Now, this is a Logos method. This is an example of using reason, data, figures, logic. Now you can probably agree with me on this statement. Employees in India are more likely to consider leaving their company than looking for it. Now you would say, Gaurav, I agree. Because it's not simply your feeling, it's not your opinion, but it is actually scientific data done by LinkedIn Market Research, Microsoft. You see, it completely changes the gravity of your opinions and your argument. So in a team meeting, the moment you quote facts and figures, people around you have no choice but to say, I agree with you. I agree with you, Aniket. I agree with you, Vaibhav. I agree with you, Vishal. I agree with you, Rohit. I agree with you, Sakshi. Whatever. Whatever you say to your audience, people will agree with you because now you're using the Logos method. Do you guys understand the Logos method? Yes or no? Do you guys understand the Logos method?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. And I'll request if you want to speak, please unmute. If not, please mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So that is what the Logos method is. So please, when you now go to your team, now when you want to persuade someone, you want to speak to your manager, you want to speak to your friends, colleagues, your students, make sure your argument is based upon data and figure. That is Aristotle's Logos method, meaning using reason, using facts and figure. Let's take another example, a simple example. I feel employees in India rank 3 areas as top priorities. Okay, compensation, advancement, and upskilling. Now, again, this is a slide. I don't know how many of you would agree with me on this statement. You would say maybe true. Yes, Gaurav, compensation is the #1 factor in India for employees. Advancement, yeah, people want to grow in their career, and upskilling for sure. They want to learn something new. Yeah. So this slide does not use Logos. It is simply a feeling. See, I feel. And how many people can agree with you when you make such a statement in your team meetings? Right? I mean, I can say I also feel, but I don't have a data. So how can I persuade you? How can you agree? You see, it's very subtle what I'm saying, but it's very important. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to call out. Right? Now compare this with the next slide. Now, look at this slide. It has facts and figures. Employees in India rank 3 areas as top priorities when considering what they want of work, right? First is compensation. 52%, according to the LinkedIn market research of March 2023, employees in India rank compensation as the #1 concern. Either they are paid less, they are not adequately paid, they are not compensated, and I am part of the 52%. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes. Second is advancement. 49% of them think so. Upskilling, 45. So now you see, I'm using the Logos method, guys. I'm using a source, a fact, a figure. Now, the moment you do this with your colleagues in your team meetings, with your people around you, whom you want to influence, your manager, if you show them the data, immediately they have no choice but to agree with you. Do you have any choice to disagree with me on this slide? You'd say, Gaurav, you have the data. So, I mean, I don't know. What can I say? I have to agree with you. I agree that #1 is the compensation. #2, I mean, it's a survey, it's a scientific survey. So I agree. There you go. I persuaded you. Congratulations. That's what soft skills really is about. I'm able to persuade you, and this is the art given by Aristotle 2000 years ago, and still we are not aware of it. Because managers, institutes, universities, they don't talk about this. We will talk about all of these important things in CDS. The second, before I close on, how many of you guys have seen this person? I don't know. I mean, his name is Edwin Deming. He's one of the first data scientists, and data science is all around LinkedIn and the world, because of AI and whatnot. And right, he was the world's one of the first data scientists. And this is what he said: without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Period. I mean, think about all the team meetings in which you spoke and you didn't have data, and you were not able to persuade. And you say, I strongly think, I strongly feel. Where's the data? Where's the logos method at play? The moment you have the logos with you, people ought to agree with you. You see? Any questions on logos method, guys? We'll move on to the last few minutes. Any questions on the logos? Do we all understand? Do you guys all understand? Can I get a thumbs up? Awesome.
Hey, hi, Gaurav. Just one
Yes.
thing, right? I
Yeah.
completely agree and following you with the logos method, but just out of curiosity, one question, right? Whatever the data we portray or we show, right? So, a lot of time the question comes with the integrity of the data, right? That
Correct.
so I'm not sure, like whether it's the right forum or right time, but I just wanted to bring it.
That's awesome. Was that Rohit again? Or... Yeah.
Yeah, it's right.
Rohit, thank you for the question. The question Rohit raised is a nuanced question. Let's say we assume we show the data, right? We tell our managers, we tell everyone or whoever the audience is, we give the data. But the question arises, is this an authentic data? Is it a right data? How true the data is? Of course, there would be questions around that, right? The authentic, and hence you need to quote some important data. And I'll talk about the next method, which probably would answer some of your question. It has to do with ethos. Okay, and I'll explain what that means. Let's get on to the second one. It's called the ethos. Ethos is about credible data. Rohit, to your question. Ethos, like you might have heard the English word ethical, ethics, right? It comes from the Aristotle's Greek word ethos. Ethos is the second method of persuading people. It is credible. It means character, ethics, morals, credible authority. So, Rohit, to go back to your question, if my data is not credible, of course, people may not get persuaded. So, you are absolutely bang on to ask that data has to be credible, right? And there are ways to deal with that, okay? So, ethos is the second important rhetorical device. Ethos is nothing but argument based upon character or credibility, right? Either you put your character in front, right? Sometimes it doesn't work, right? Because you might not be a credible source yourself for an argument. You cannot say, I tell that you should do this, hence you do it, right? It's like, yeah, you are a tech lead, but probably you're influencing me by your authority. You're exercising your authority against me. You're not really persuading me. You're simply telling me, right? So sometimes you yourself are an authority, or sometimes you quote somebody else's authority, right? This is what a leader tells us to do. This is what Satya tells Microsoft to do. Right? This is what, let's say, a prime minister of a country wants the country to do. That's the ethos method that you're applying right there. You are including a credible authority and a source. You see, the moment you introduce an authority or a source, you have a better chance at influencing your audience. I'll try to mute probably someone who might not be mute. So, feel free to unmute if you have a question. Okay, that's the ethos method. Let's take an example quickly and then we'll wrap it up. Here is an example of ethos, or rather a little bit about ethos, right? As humans, we are hardwired to trust people, right? You are listening to me on the call. Do you trust me? Well, I don't know. Okay. Right? Some of you know me personally. You may trust me. You know me. Some of you are like, I don't know what this guy is talking about. Right? Maybe he's telling truth. Maybe he's not. But I know this person is credible. You immediately would trust me, right? That's a human tendency, right? We always find good reasons. How can I believe this person, what he's saying? It is logical. It is reasonable. This person is a nice person, right? So the credibility is very important. right? I mean, it is important that when you speak to your audience, you show the commitment of their welfare, right? You shouldn't pose a threat in your team meeting. Like, you shouldn't be a nuisance to your colleagues, right? You have to achieve a credibility in front of them. You have to achieve the respect in front of your colleagues. If you are a professor, you have to show the credibility in front of your audience. If you lose the credibility, people won't get persuaded, would they? They won't. Imagine in India, there are so many advertisement that happens, and there are always Bollywood personalities. They would come, use this toothpaste, use that brush, use this product, right? And you say, I like this personality, I'm going to buy that product. You get influenced, you get persuaded. By the way, they are using the ethos method, okay? They are injecting a character, a Bollywood hero, to sell a product. What are they doing? They are using the ethos method, folks. So if you trust the person, you buy the product somehow, consciously, unconsciously. But the same person get stuck into a scandal, you'd no longer associate yourself with the product, isn't it? You see, they are using the ethos method. Okay, so please make sure you write it down. You learned something new. The logos, the ethos. Let's take a fine example of this. Okay, your manager is asking you. Okay, take this. Your name is Chris Fuller. It's a hypothetical, it's a fictional character. So any resemblance is coincidental. Okay, so this is just a fictional character, by the way. A software intern, right? A person who is in the system only for 6 months. Let's say you are a software developer, only 6 months in the system. A manager comes to you and says, is it worth the effort to design a good software? What do you guys think? What would be your answer? If we have any software engineer on the call, what would be your answer to this question? Is it worth the effort to design software well? Anybody from the software world, can anyone take a guess at this question? Give any answer, don't worry.
Certainly.
Certainly, right?
Yep.
Or anybody else who disagrees with that? Any other software engineer on the call who says, no, it is not a good idea to design software well? Okay, almost everyone, right? But what if I say this? Imagine this person, Chris Fuller, says this statement to his manager. I guess so. We should always design good architecture. I think so. We should always. I feel we should always design. I mean, we use this always casually, isn't it? Think about all your conversations you have had in your meetings with your friends. You use these words very casually, but they carry a lot of meaning, right? You don't have credibility here. There is no ethos that you can apply, but still you're saying, I think so. The I is like your credibility here. Well, you are 6 months in the system. How can I agree with you? This is the bias that we always have. Imagine somebody new coming to you and you telling you a best practice. You'll be like, okay, this guy is new and ethos, it doesn't have credibility. He has just joined the team. He has only 6 months. Instead of that, instead of this, what if you do this? Now, sorry, this is a more technical slide. This is from my world of software engineering, of architecture. It's called design stamina hypothesis. Okay. The same thing I tell you why we should design good software. And instead of telling that, I quote a credible authority here. It's called, the name of the person is Martin Fowler. He's a chief scientist. He's a renowned software architect. He's a pundit on the topic of software development for enterprise applications. His name is Martin. I personally follow him. Whatever architectural things that I've learned from this person. His name is Martin Fowler. Look it up. You'll be very successful as a software architect or architect. He postulates an hypothesis. It's called design stamina. And he says that a good design over time, see this, over time, a good design will really work in a linear fashion in terms of the functionality. So a good software over time, you would be able to add a lot of functionality to it. That's what the orange line means. Don't get bogged by this all technicalities. Okay. All this means is over time, a good design will yield good functionality over time. You would be able to add a lot of cumulative functionality over time. Good design. But a bad design, a software with no design, would be able to add a lot of functionality quickly. But at a certain point in time, you won't be able to add cumulative functionality. Why? Because look where the blue dot goes. It falls down. Compare that to this orange line. Good design. But notice this. Notice this curve, this logarithmic curve. What does this mean? It means it is worth actually writing a bad software if you want to put a lot of functionality quickly. You see, if you want to go to market quickly, if you want to say, I want to release my product quickly, come on, let's do something really quick, you would be very successful at it with a bad design. Okay. But a time comes, it's called design payoff line. No matter what you do, you won't be able to add cumulative functionality over time. That's the beauty of a good design. Initially, it does not yield good result in terms of cumulative functionality. Now, this is a roundabout way of saying the same thing what the intern said. This intern, 6 months in the system, he did not had any credible authority with him. He said, I think so. Right? In this case, he doesn't think. He says Martin Fowler proposes postulates. Now, how many architects in the room would disagree to this hypothesis, right? It's a hypothesis. You can agree, disagree. But at least one thing you can recognize that, oh, this has some logic, some authority to it. It is Martin Fowler who is saying this. You see, this is the ethos method at play, my friends. Please use ethos method whenever you go back to your office, your studies, to influence people, recruiters, court authorities, right? Here's another fine example, very simple example. How many of you guys have heard about Chandrayaan 3? Yes? No? Chandrayaan 3? Oh my God, yes.
Yep.
Almost everyone has heard about Chandrayaan 3, right? It is Indian Space Research Organization's follow-up mission to Chandrayaan 2, right? To like demonstrate, showcase the end-to-end capability on landing on the lunar surface, right? So imagine I, Gaurav J. Patole, founder of Bol Foundation, an NGO organization, makes this statement. In my opinion, Chandrayaan 3 will land even if everything fails, all sensor fail, nothing works. How many of you guys would agree with me on this statement? I'm not seeing any hands being raised. At least I'm not seeing that in the chat. No one is agreeing to me, right? Somebody are laughing, right? I mean, what if the same statement is made by another authority, ethos, S. Somanathan, ISRO chairman? Would you agree to this now? Yes. Okay, this simply demonstrates that you need to use an ethos method. You might be saying the right thing. You might be a newcomer in the team. You might be a tech lead saying the right thing, but still your people are not agreeing with you. How often that happens? How often that happens that you speak the truth, but still people disagree with you? How often that happens, my friend? You speak the truth, but people still disagree. They don't get persuaded by you. Try the ethos method. Chandrayaan 3 will land even if everything fails. All sensors fail, nothing works. Indian Express quoting. This is an article 2 days ago. S. Somanathan, ISRO chairman. There is a good reason why he said this. Because Chandrayaan 3 is designed even if all the sensors fail and nothing works. As long as the propulsion system works. As long as the propulsion system works, it is designed. The software bugs have been fixed. Lot of engineering things have been followed. So this is actually a true statement. Okay. So you disagreed with me here because I am not an authority for ISRO. Am I an authority? No. I am a Bol Foundation founder. It's a charity organization. You'll say what this guy knows about ISRO. But the moment I quote you as Somanathan, ISRO chairman, you immediately blink your eyes and say, oh my God, This is true. I want to be persuaded by this. See, I just persuaded you. You now agree with me. This is a second art of ethos that Aristotle spoke about. Let's finish the last one and we are done. The last one is my favorite. If you ask me, what is your favorite? G, this is my favorite because there is a human element to persuading others, and it is the heart. Pathos is the Greek term for emotion, feeling, or passion. Pathos is an argument based upon feeling. You stir up the feeling of others. If you want them to agree with you, if you want your manager to agree with you, use the pathos method more than the logos or the ethos method. Use the pathos method because now you're persuading your audience from a human lens. According to Aristotle, persuasion cannot occur in absence of emotion. People are moved to action by how a speaker makes them feel. How many of you guys agree to this? Right? I'm sure you agree to this. This is called as emotional intelligence. Yeah. Right? Let's let's take an example. Okay. I mean, there is a lot of neuroscience studies have been done. There is something called as an oxytocin in the chemical brain that happens. That people, when they connect with other people on a emotionally deep level, let's say if I were to tell you, hey, let's say Vishal is there on the call, right? He's one of my former colleagues. And I tell Vishal, where are you from? Vishal says, I am from Maharashtra. I'm like, Are Mitra, me पण Maharashtra's आहे. Like immediately there is a pathos method going on here. I speak Marathi, you speak Marathi. That's so wonderful. You see, there is a connect. I am able to now influence you because there is a human emotion connection with us. You see, so always make sure when you speak to your audience, connect them at emotional level. You cannot just throw logic and data at them. Okay, let's take an example. Pathos. If you study 500 of the most influential TED Talks, 65% of the TED Talk speakers used pathos method. They used a rhetorical tool called as stories. Right? How often do you see like people getting influenced by stories? Like I heard that person's story is wonderful. Right? Stories are moving. They move people. I saw this movie, wonderful story. I got moved. I got influenced. I got persuaded. The director of the movie persuaded me. Well, the director of the movie used Aristotle's method of pathos. And no one would explain you in this way, but I'm just telling you this method is very important. The TED speakers, they influence all over the world. 65% of them use pathos. 25% of them use logos. And 10% of them use ethos. That means now when you go back, let's say if you're software engineers going back to your team, I would say focus on the pathos method first. Then use the logos, the statistics, the data, and then use credible sources or credible things. Okay. And if you want to know a little bit more about this data, I have given the source here. Okay. I don't know if you guys know this personality. How many of you guys know this personality? Do you know who this personality is?
Yes,
Yeah?
sir.
Yeah, who is it?
I'm Megasham, sir.
Okay, you're Megasham, but who is this person in the picture?
Mr. Sharad Pawar.
Very good. Now, first thing, I personally or the Bread of Life Foundation is not affiliated or endorse any particular political party. The reference is purely for educational purpose. Okay. This is the reason why I made this slide. This is a person, his name is Sharad Pawar. He is the head of NCP party in Maharashtra. As you know, Maharashtra is one of the tallest economically state in India. And India is the most populous country in the world. So he's one of the most influential figure in the entire India. Okay. Now, in 2019, October, this picture was taken when he was visiting Satara, a district in Maharashtra, amid heavy rainfall. Mr. Sharad Pawar, 80 years old, a brave cancer survivor, a party supremo, he was hardly able to walk on the pulpit. He was addressing a rally in a heavy rainfall. The reason? Because his people, his audience, were sitting in the rain without a shade on their heads. Here is a person coming in, 80-year-old, cancer survivor, barely able to talk because of the mouth cancer, hardly able to walk because of the leg injury. He made a speech in which he said, "The rain God has blessed us." Now, I don't know if you've noticed what that means. In Satara, one of the biggest challenges is rain, scarcity of rain. And on that particular day, he welcomed the rains. And he said that the rain God has blessed us. Right? It is his statement. And so people were pouring, people were happy. Wow, the rain God is also blessing us. And what he said, he said, and he appealed to his voters that please correct my mistake. I selected a wrong candidate in 2019 Lok Sabha elections, he said. He agreed to his mistake in front of his voters and still said, please do vote for NCP party. His gesture was based upon pathos method. It stirred people's emotions. It stirred NCP leaders. Not only NCP leaders, but all the veteran leaders of other political parties praised him on social media. Standing in the rain, focusing on the pathos method. He did not use umbrella. He could have used that. He could have stood in a shade. He did not do that. He stood in the rain. That is how you connect emotionally with the people. That's the pathos method. And guess what? Was he able to persuade people? Absolutely yes. NCP party won in the 2019 Satara district. Bingo. That's the art of persuasion. That's Aristotle's method of pathos. I mean, we don't see this. Nobody tells us like, okay, what does this mean? I'm telling you this. This really works. This will help you in your career, folks. Now we are at the end of the session. I don't know about Steve Jobs, you've heard, but Steve Jobs was very influential about pathos. And when he almost lost Apple, he said the role passion would play in revitalizing the brand is crucial. And Apple went back. So, I mean, I cannot underline the importance of this word. So we will be having upcoming sessions on emotional intelligence. Hang in there. Next session, not today, but upcoming sessions. Be there. So that's it, guys. Today's session is almost done. What we have learned today is the Bread of Life Foundation, the work that we are doing, what is CDS. I hope you found this very interesting, helpful. Personally, we spoke about the art of persuasion. Please remember logos, ethos, and pathos method. Make a mental note of them. Please practice. Message me. Let me know how it works for you. Okay? Any questions we have? Last minute questions before we close out. Any questions? We are 5 minutes late, but let's quickly wrap it up. Any questions? Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Megasham. I'm from Pune.
Yeah.
Sir, currently I'm having a career stop where I'm looking for a job. I recently finished my internship, but I'm looking for a better job or a better opportunity. This session was very helpful, but can you tell me how to improve myself on soft skills I have worked on, but also on hard skills?
Yes, Meksham, thank you for the question. I appreciate this. And I know this is not simply your question. Believe me, there are a lot of others who would say, I agree what he just said. Okay. We will be having our upcoming sessions. In fact, this is what the next slide is. There you go. You somehow guessed the next slide. Okay. In the next slide, I will be talking about the soft skill aspect and the hard skill aspects. Okay. So we have upcoming sessions. And I have seen your registration. I know your details. I know your choices. I know everything that you have suggested. Okay. So we will personally look into your particular case. Okay. And hang in there. I will be talking about the hard skills and the soft skills. We have sessions around that as well. Okay, career opportunities, engineering related, and a lot of other things which are coming. Okay, so just hang in there, wait for the calendar invite, connect with us, we will reach back to you. Okay, so thank you for the question. Now, the last 5 minutes, as an acknowledgement for this, we would like to thank you for the time that you spent with us. Okay, and we'd like to give you a token of recognition, a certificate of recognition from the CDS organization, from me, signed by our chairman, right? And it is a credit of 1.5 hours, and you will be receiving this certificate, right? The only request I have for you is please fill this 90 seconds of survey right now. The moment you do this, you would be able to receive the certificate. So I don't want to say that it is a condition, but I would highly recommend, if you really want to say thank you to us in any shape or form, I would highly recommend you to please immediately fill in this survey. I am sending you the link right away. Please check your chats. So please see your chats and fill in this 90-second survey, and then you would immediately, like, no, I wouldn't say immediately, but you would be receiving a copy of this certificate. So please do it right away, and if you are done, just let me know. So it will take only 90 seconds. If you want to thank us, thank the Bowl Foundation, this is an important step for you to do. Please take this survey. Please write how you like this session, what would you like to do. It takes not more than 90 seconds. So I have sent the link. You can scan it. If you have a mobile phone, you can use the mobile phone. It's a very quick survey. I highly recommend each one of you to do this. Now, if you do this, you will receive this certificate in your inbox. You would be able to flaunt it, flash it in LinkedIn. This is something that you will be very happy to carry as a trophy with you, a souvenir about this session. So it is my ardent desire that I give this certificate to you. My only request to you is that, in order to receive this certificate, please fill in this survey right now. It takes only 90 seconds. So I'll wait for like a 2 minutes or so, and then we'll conclude. So please hang in there and fill in this survey. The survey link is shared in the chat. I hope everyone got it.
In chat, the link is not there.
In the chat, the link is not there, is it? No link here? Okay. What is the other way? Okay. Can you guys scan this? Or can you note? I don't know, it's hard to type the characters. I don't know what is the other medium to do so, but let me see if I can still try to get the link. Probably. How about now? Did it come? Yeah, I see Meksham also. Yeah.
It's here now.
Yeah,
Okay,
got
please.
it now.
Okay, I request you all to please do it right away. Remove the double quotes. Okay, by the way, remove the double quotes in the link. And once you are done, just acknowledge that, just tell me. And then, the certificate should be on its way. By the way, in the meantime, you guys can speak and let me know how did you find the session. I know it was not specific to the hard skills, but I hope you learned something new. I hear a question in the meantime from Asmita. I have an interview at Deloitte for data and analytics. What should I focus on? Asmita, why don't you ping me offline? Okay, I'll send you my number, and then I'll suggest to you what you can do for your upcoming interview for data and analytics. Okay, I'll have to really check your resume, how you pose yourself. There are some good tips that I can suggest with you, Asmita. So why don't you connect with me offline? Just message me on WhatsApp. I will be sharing, my contact details as well. or you can also send an email to gaurav.patole@boldfoundation.org. But Asmita, I think I do have your contact details. So let me get back to you offline. Is that fine with you, Asmita? Yes. Okay. Anybody who was able to complete the survey, 90-second survey? Please make sure you fill the survey genuinely. So I'd really like to hear from you. That's the only way for me to know whether I should invest in the sessions for you. You would be receiving the certificate the moment you finish the survey. So please let me know once you finish the survey. It takes only 90 seconds.
Sir, I have finished the survey.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hey, finish the survey, Gaurav, and thank you so much for the session. Right, it's always my pleasure to see you speaking, or maybe to attend the session delivered by you. So thank you so much for that. I always admire it.
This means a lot. Thank you for participating. Thank you for actively participating, I should say, Rohit, and to all of you guys. These are my uh, personal details, and I don't mind sharing with the audience here. So please make a note of it, take a snapshot, reach out to me. Some of you have a very upcoming interview, pressing questions. We will be answering those one-to-one. If it requires bigger forum, I'll come up with a session. But if it is something personal to you directly, I would rather prefer speaking to you in person because that's more meaningful to you. So please finish the survey. And once again, the session will be available, the recording will be available, the certificates will be available to you if you have finished the survey. So I thank each one of you for spending this time. I hope this session was useful. Have a blessed day, have a great day, and look up for the upcoming sessions. Take care. Bye.